Hey everybody, it's Scott Steen with winnersandwhiners.com coming to you with the Thursday edition of Today in Sports Betting. As always, I'm joined by my soon-to-be traveling partner. He is the one, the only Scott Reichel. Scott, pretty happy about those Islanders tonight, buddy.
Yep, nice win, nice and easy. The empty netters made it look like a blowout when in reality it was more stressful than that, but they played well. Rask was questionable in net. Grizzlick really did us a couple of solids by giving us the puck about 4 times in their zone. And, yeah, really just a nice, easy game there. Other than that, my day was pretty decent betting-wise. How's your day?
Not bad, not bad. We White Sox let us down. Lance Lynn, he was fine. Just gave up the one run, but the Chicago White Sox pen all of a sudden is a liability.
Are you saying that bummer was a bummer?
It's just too easy. It's one of those. It's one of those terrible baseball names. Of course, it's a bad name in any sport, but there's Grant Balfour and, and Bob Walk. Those are bad names.
By the way, if you don't get the joke, there's a White Sox relief pitcher named Bummer who basically blew the game for the White Sox.
Austin Bummer, yes.
But they did me a solid for play of the day. They scored first. They didn't win the game, but they scored first.
Well, isn't that what's important, Scott?
It's important to me. Maybe not to you, but it is to me.
You hit your player prop.
Yeah, hit the prop for play today.
So we did have Phoenix, and for the third game in a row, Scott, I miss out on my total by about a point. 3 totals I've lost now, Scott. 4.5 points total is what they've lost by.
Not fun. It means you're on the cusp.
It means I'm on the cusp. That's right. Get those good numbers, folks. Shop your lines because it matters. If you think it doesn't, you're wrong. Mm-hmm. All right, my friend. Well, let's take a look and see what we got cooked up in the NBA here for tonight. Hey, it's a big night for us, Scott. We got 2 games. Woohoo!
That's 2 more than we had yesterday.
Yeah.
That's 1 more than we had yesterday. That's double what we had yesterday.
We could say it's 2 more than we had yesterday if you watched that game. That was not.
It's about 1.5 more because the game was over basically halftime.
Poor Denver. Yeah, it's a shame. It's a shame.
That's a shame.
It's not going to be good for anybody. They get to go home now, which is good. Do you think they'll have to travel again, Scott?
I think probably, but I hope to help them relax. They get to use some recreational stuff down there in Denver because they might need it.
Oh no, wait, it's
depressing.
It's 2-2-1-1-1, right? It's not 2-3.
It's 2-2-1-1-1, but Denver.
It's still possible they won't travel again.
They got to reinvent themselves or something because it ain't working.
Yeah, they have a small problem, Scott, and that is that the Phoenix Suns are better at every position except center.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
And they're in some positions they're better by a lot.
Yep.
Looking at you guards.
Chris Paul's just having a good time out there.
He is. He really is. So. Well, let's take a look at the Nets and Bucks here, Scott. Your Brooklyn Nets. See if we can keep the Scott Reichel streak going because your teams have done very well so far this week.
Even the Yankees have won this week. I don't really know what's happening right now.
It's crazy. It's crazy. And I know you're headed to Florida later today. I know I referred to the Islanders game as tonight. Of course, that's because for us it ended about 3 hours ago. But by the time this gets up and viewed, it will be tomorrow, which is today, of course. So yeah, you're going to be flying down to Florida. What part of Florida you going to, Scott? Let me guess. East Coast?
I'm going to Miami.
Yeah.
So even though the Islanders are playing Tampa, I'm not going to Tampa.
You what?
Even though the Islanders are playing Tampa, that's not why I'm going to Florida. I'm not going to Tampa.
No, they're not playing Tampa quite yet. But
no, not quite yet, which is good for me. I actually don't even know when game 1 of that series is, but I got a family wedding, so I'll be out of town for a couple days.
How long are you going to be gone?
I'm going to be gone until about Monday afternoon or evening.
Just fly home during the radio show?
I believe it's after the radio show, so I should be there.
Perfect. All right. By the way, if you hate Scott and don't want to hear him talk, listen to the radio show tomorrow because he won't be there.
Yep, pretty much.
If you hate me and don't want to hear me talk, you're pretty much.
You have a lot of opinions, so I'm giving you the floor for a day where you can just rant.
He's got a lot of goofy opinions. I think I'm going to have Dave the Dominator on too to take a look at some of the games. So
nice.
So you'll hardly be missed.
I appreciate that.
All right, buddy. Are the Nets going to do it or not? They're getting 3.5 points. What do you think? You taking the best team in the NBA with points on the road?
Well, when you put it that way, I have to consider it. But once again, I feel like a lot of the breakdowns are going to be the same thing we did for a breakdown of Game 2, which was Milwaukee shot so poorly, you're going to assume they're going to play better. And after Game 2, I can't make that assumption anymore because this team got absolutely destroyed. I don't know what they're doing on both sides of the ball.
Steve Nash has really made some nice adjustments, my friend.
I think he actually has, but I can't tell because every player on the Nets has just been hitting every shot they've been taking. So I don't really know.
That's true. But, I mean, if you look at the regular season, Milwaukee won 2 of those 3 games, and they won them by absolutely dominating as far as the number of shots go and the turnover battle. And the Nets are ahead of Milwaukee on both of those fronts.
That's the thing, is that you're looking at the Nets, and I think just in general, I'm going to have to throw out a lot of games in the regular season when it comes to viewing playoffs, because I actually think after watching the Nets of the first 2 games of the series, they just didn't care about the regular season.
No.
Defensively, I don't know what happened with this team. I've been watching a decent amount of games because I am a Nets fan, and of course this team's very entertaining. I didn't think they had this gear. I thought they'd be a little bit better defensively when it mattered.
Right.
I didn't think they'd start looking like the 04 Pistons. Like, this is just ridiculous.
Shutting them down, baby. Shutting them down.
Blake Griffin. I know that Giannis works out, and I know that he, is a muscular guy and he's strong. But Blake Griffin randomly just doesn't move whenever Giannis tries to back him down, and I did not see that coming at all in the series.
You forget that Blake Griffin was at one time a very good player.
No, I'm not saying that he wasn't a good player, but you just look at the two of them. I just assumed Giannis would just back him down with relative ease. But Griffin, I guess, is just a refrigerator because you can't move him.
Yeah. He just plants those big size 19s or whatever and just stands there.
Well, that's why I thought that DeAndre Jordan would play a little bit in the series, because I figured that Griffin wouldn't be able to contain him and that they would have to try to go bigger. And they just haven't had to do that. And Griffin has been a revelation. I mean, he's gone
I know.
back
I thought the same thing. But lo and behold, apparently Steve Nash knows more than I do. I didn't see that coming.
Well, Nash has done a great job. D'Antoni's got the offense looking good, I guess. Defensively, they probably throw D'Antoni out of the coaches' meetings because they're actually playing good defense. But I'm just looking at this matchup, and unless Giannis just stops shooting jump shots, which for some reason he's refusing to do, he can't hit free throws.
They're daring him. They're daring him, Scott. They're packing the middle after they dominated the paint that first game. They pretty much set up the picket fence, and they're daring him to drive. They
didn't even show up for game 2. I don't know what that was by Milwaukee, but the thing that we talked about for the first series with Milwaukee was how it seemed like after game 2, Miami kind of just had the spirit sucked out of them for the rest of the series, and they kind of just got buried.
Right.
And it seems like that just happened to Milwaukee because the Nets just thoroughly beat them down. And at no point did Milwaukee even look engaged for more than about, a half in this series?
Yeah.
Like, I got to go with the Nets, but I know that it goes back to my team's down 0-2 theory, take the Bucks first half, whatever percentage that is. But this team is just getting absolutely railroaded. And Coach Bud, we know, is bad.
His 2 Player of the Year awards, or his 2 Coach of the Year awards notwithstanding.
No, but the thing is, you also want to look at Giannis, and just to go through the numbers here, he had 34 points in game 1, which I know made you a pretty penny because you had the player prop over.
Right.
But free throws, 0 for 3 in game 1. Then was 2 for 7 in game 2. So he's shooting an impressive 2 for 10 from the foul line in this series.
I'm no math guy, but I think that's about 20%.
Which is awful. And he's shooting 2 for 8 from 3. Field goal-wise, he's actually shooting pretty well. He's 24 for 39, but I don't even know why he's attempting any three-pointers at any point.
No.
I got to go with the Nets because they might get Jeff Green back, which is another big boost. I'm hoping that means Shamet will never see the court, but he was better in game 2. The Bucks have just shown me nothing, and I can't assume they're going to flip a switch anymore because I thought the switch would come in game 2.
Green is going to be out for this one. They're hoping maybe Saturday.
Sorry, he's going to come back at some point in the series, but
yeah.
I forgot they officially ruled him out. But still, this Nets team with everybody just looks fantastic. And Milwaukee, who's been good for them in this series? Drew Holiday hasn't really done much. Middleton's been terrible.
Yeah.
Brook Lopez has been the peak of this team. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, Connaughton's been bad.
Forbes was good in game 2, but he did nothing in game 1. Like, I'm not even joking. Your most impressive player in the series, because Giannis, of course, has been good for half the games, is probably Brook Lopez, and that's a serious problem.
Well, I've got a premium on the side, Scott. Let's talk about the total.
I got to go with the under until I see.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. There's the 60% of the money right now is coming in on the over.
Of course it is, because it's the Nets and Bucks.
Starting to creep up a little bit. 234.5 at DraftKings, 234 everywhere else, but a lot of times DraftKings is the canary in the coal mine. So we'll see what happens there. But I wouldn't be surprised to see it. I don't know. I think we can milk 235 out of that.
I think it'll probably keep rising. I think it'll close at around 235.5, 236. But
okay, I think you're a little more optimistic than I am. But
I just think people are going to look at the Bucks and the Nets, and they're just going to go, "Oh, Giannis and KD. Giannis can't have 2 bad games in a row." And they'll just bet the over. But I'm looking at maybe the Bucks team total under, because I know they've been struggling shooting the ball, but they don't even know what they're doing half the time. Like, they are just completely disoriented. There's a difference between running good sets and not making shots, and then just looking completely lost and overwhelmed at every single point in the game. That's how the Bucks have looked in the first 2 games. They have no idea what's going on.
Okay.
Is that fair or being harsh?
I think you can look at the results, and that's hard to argue with. The only question is whether they're going to be motivated when they get back home and have something for them. So
that's why I'm kind of looking at the team total under, because at the end of the day, the Bucks defensively still give up way too many threes, and the Nets scored 125 in the last game, but they pretty much benched all the main guys for the last quarter.
Right.
They could have easily have scored about 135, 140 if they wanted to.
Yes, so. I remember that with my Joe Harris over 13.5 as he's sitting on 13 with 9 minutes left. And
yes, but the point is that I'm trying to say is that if you want to take an under, be wary of the Nets, because they can easily drop 130 plus. So I'd go Bucks team total under.
All right, I'll take the full under. I don't care.
Okay.
All right.
So does that mean it's going over by like 1 point?
Yeah, it's probably about right. Yeah, so I'm going to book it now, Scott. So I make sure I get 234, and then when it goes to 235 tomorrow.
Nice little middle action between the 235 and a half.
The Polish middle.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Clippers Jazz, Scott. They're at the Salt Lake City. I don't know the name of the arena. The Tabernacle, is that where they play?
I'm trying to remember the exact name. Is it like the Vivint Smart home arena?
Okay, sure.
That's what it's called.
Jazz by 3.
Can we start a movement to just call the Jazz's home court the Tabernacle nowadays?
Sure, absolutely.
I'm all in. I'm going to call it the Tabernacle from now on.
Start seeing that on Twitter. It's trending.
I'm going to try to get it trending. That's just a good nickname for a place.
Jazz minus 3. 2 turning 1.5 across the board. Both of those numbers are exactly where they opened. Scott, this is a Jazz team that didn't really fire on all cylinders the other night, yet they were able to somehow come back and pull off the victory. How many teams? I'd like to know, where's Elias Sports Bureau when you need it? I'd like to know how many teams have had an 0 for 20 stretch and still won the game.
In this decade? Not many.
Yeah.
If you're looking back in maybe early 2000s, I'd say there might have been a couple, because the games were like 60-something to 60-something.
When was this?
I'm saying like early 2000s, like the Pistons and company. Like when the
early
games
2000s, the games were 60-60?
I'm saying in the playoffs when you had the Pistons and the Pacers going at it in those playoff series, it was like 69-67.
You're drunk. Go home.
I'm serious. Do you remember the Tayshaun Prince block on Reggie Miller? Like way back in the day when he did the chase down block, like before LeBron made it popular?
I think we've already established that way back in the day means different things to us.
Whatever. Point is, in that game, Tayshaun Prince had the block. If you look at the scoreboard on the bottom right, it's 69-67 with like 40 seconds to go in the game.
So you're basing your entire on one game.
I'm basing the Pistons and the Pacers playing at a snail's pace. Yes, and you can research it, but
yeah, I'm going to be looking that up as you know.
I know you won't, but I'm saying if you did, then you'd see what I'm talking about. But not many. You know, Utah was awful in the first quarter. Kind of picked it up after that, though. Had 29 in the second, 32 in the third, and 33 in the fourth. Yeah. Mostly involving Donovan Mitchell because, of course, he had 45 points. And
they weren't even as bad as you would think in the first quarter. They still put up 18, which is not good. But we've seen less than that this year, Scott. We've seen 12s and 14s by teams that didn't miss 20 in a row.
Yeah, I think that goes back to my point when I was talking about the Bucks and how they just look completely disoriented. Utah was getting good shots. They just couldn't hit a shot.
Yeah.
Like, there's a difference between the two. And then Utah finally started making shots, and that's why they scored about 30 in every quarter after that. The only thing you have to wonder, if people are going to take the Clippers, there are a couple ways to look at it. One, Paul George was terrible. Do you think he's going to bounce back? Some people would say yes. Some people would say no. Kawhi Leonard didn't do much. Do you think he's going to do better? Maybe. Marcus Morris didn't do well. Is he going to do better? Point is, there's a lot of ifs when it comes to the Clippers. And Utah really dominated for 3 quarters. And people are going to remember the 1 quarter that they were awful and go, well, the Clippers only lost by 3. You know, they have something there. Do they? Like, do they actually? Because Utah really did whatever it wanted. And maybe I'm not overreacting to beating a very underwhelming Mavericks team in 7 games. I still don't trust Paul George in playoff games. Sorry. I just don't do it.
All right. Well, I've got the Jazz there on my play of the day, so
I like the Jazz too. And now, don't get me wrong, Kawhi can go out and have another Dallas Mavericks 40-something point game there, and it wouldn't surprise me. But Mitchell got to any spot he wanted. You look at the rest of the supporting cast. Clarkson is going to keep chucking. He'll make some of them, not a lot of them. Bogdanovich was good. I thought Ingles played pretty well. I know he only went 3 for 12, which shooting-wise was terrible, but I actually thought he did a pretty good job filling in for Conley. Is there a status update on Conley, or is he still questionable?
Well, let's see what we got here, Scott.
I'm assuming he's probably questionable, trending doubtful.
Mike Conley is questionable.
Shocker.
Oh, Serge Ibaka's out, Scott.
He's always out, so what else is new? But just going through the line here, Kennard was very good for the Clippers. I also think Terrence Mann needs to play more. And if you're going to keep playing Rondo 28 minutes, you got a problem. But at no point did Rondo guard Mitchell, did Reggie Jackson guard Mitchell. Nobody could guard him. And I don't exactly expect Kawhi or Paul George to start guarding him now in Game 2. I'm going to go with Utah. But I do like the over in this game. You ended up seeing an avalanche in the second half, most of the fourth quarter of that game. But the pace was there the entire way, and then Utah just kept missing shots. I like the over. I think you'll see points. You?
I'll give you a fun stat, Scott. You think the Clippers give up 107.7 points per game, okay? That's fourth in the NBA. Think the Jazz can hit 108?
Yeah.
It's a good number for the Jazz, Scott. When the Jazz score 108 or more, they are 42-0-2 against the number.
That's pretty good.
How about that for a trend?
It's a very good trend, but I don't know what you think about the total. I don't know if you have a premium or anything on it, but I like.
I don't.
The pace. It seems like Utah at home has just decided, even though they're a good defensive team, we're just going to push the pace at home, and they've been doing it all playoffs long. And you know that they're going to shoot the lights out from 3.
And it's weird that the Clippers are falling for it.
Yeah, they are.
It's not a team. That's not a team that you think of as going fast.
I didn't think that they would, but Utah just seems to be aggressively pushing the pace, and the Clippers are going, all right, I guess.
Well, you know, they're certainly a well-coached team with Ty Lue, so.
Well, I'll tell you what. I think that they're an okay coach team.
Right.
I'm going to group Ty Lue and Doc together.
He's no Doc Rivers.
I group them together where I kind of just look at him and go, well, they both won 1 title. They both, make some adjustments every now and then. But most of the time, you have no idea what they're doing. So I kind of group the 2 of them together. But I just think Utah's the better team.
All right. I'll play. I got to play the over there as well. It does seem like the pace is going to go the Jazz way. So take Jazz over, and I've got the over in the next game as well. So as always, if you're looking for a second or third opinion on these games, make sure you stop by and check out winnersandwhiners.com. Deep dives and predictions into every single game every single day. It is always available to you and always free at winnersandwhiners.com. And, of course, we thank you guys very much for watching today. Don't forget to give us the like and subscribe if you haven't done so already. For me and for Scott Reichel, for all of us over here at the Winners and Whiners team, thanks very much for watching. You guys have a great day. Stay tuned because right around the corner, we're going to be doing the version of Today in Sports Betting MLB style. So we'll see you then. You guys take care.